I found that interesting, coming from Oklahoma State, last name Holiday, no relation.
Yes.
Well, you had to look, though, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely.
And then we got Pittsburgh last.
I do. I think the dark magic is over. I think it's over. I don't think Mike Tomlin can just continually being that team that wins 9 or 10 games and makes it into the playoffs every year. It's done. It's gone.
He's won 17 years in a row.
Yep, it's not happening. The dark magic's done. This year, though, I've got to win 7 games.
Oh, we struggle in all aspects of school.
Yeah.
We had PE down. That's about it.
And lunch.
PE and
I was ready to lunch.
That has stayed true to form, hasn't it?
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Benchwarmer Basement Banter. I'm your host, Woody, and we've changed it up on you guys a little bit today.
We got Stat Guy over here.
Instead of Rogers. We got Phil in.
Rogers is sitting out this one because he says he doesn't know what we're talking about.
He's on strike because we're talking about a Canadian sport.
Yeah.
So, real team player over
he's
there.
never been much of a hockey fan. So,
He's not.
Can't blame him.
It's a toss-up. Yeah, it's not for all.
No,
it's really
not.
It's a confusing sport, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've played it. I can barely skate, or that
I
I
can't
know all
at
the
all.
rules and routes.
But I do watch quite a bit of this team right here.
Well, exactly. And here, got it right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to give my wife credit. I fell in love with hockey. We lived out at St. Louis for a few years. We started going to games. And oh my gosh, I just fell in love with it. And like the love for Blues hockey out there, oh man, it runs deep. It really does.
My family, we went to a game, I think I was still in high school. Never been to one. Blues weren't even that great back then. I think it was like Oshie's rookie year.
Yeah, okay.
And fell in love with it. I'm like, this is the best sport I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've watched everything in person, and nothing is like hockey to me.
It's an electric atmosphere.
Yeah.
And like there's always something going on. Like the game flows so good. There's not
It
the
is.
intermission. The breaks aren't long.
Nope.
It's crazy.
And you can watch the Zamboni during it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and between the intermissions too.
Yeah,
the
they
games
got
play.
the
it's
kids
a lot of
out
fun.
there.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a slide. Oh yeah, those kids. We always pick which one we think is going to score. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, we're trying to say you guys I'm going to a game. It was great.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Go to a game if you can.
yeah, it will hook you in, and it's funny you say that about the Oshie team because my wife. This was long before like we dated anything when we were actually like youth. We're kids. We went to church together and went out there with her aunt, and I think it was Oshie's second year. And I remember Oshie, Backus, like these guys.
Yep.
Yeah, those Blues teams that were not very good. Davis Payne was the head coach. Like that was a ways back, and I'm like, wow, this is so much cooler than on TV.
Yes.
They're fast. It's
They are
exciting.
so fast. And I've been to some minor league games, and you can tell a big difference between the minors and major league.
And did you like when the boards first hit by you? It was like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, it's cool. And I'm
Well,
like,
that first game I went to, like within the first 3 minutes, there was 3 fights, I think, and then it went to overtime and a shootout, and the Blues won. It was like the perfect experience I could have.
That's
It was
crazy.
like completely perfect. I'm like, oh, I'm hooked.
I'm beginning to wonder if we were at the same game because the Blues beat Philly 2-1 in a shootout. The first game I was
No,
at,
it was like a 4-4 game.
Oh,
It was a lot.
okay.
There was a lot of goals.
well, there was a lot of fights, not much scoring, and an overtime. I'm sorry, it's shootout goals. That was like shortly after it was implemented. It was freaking awesome, man. I'm hooked. Like I said, may not be the most knowledgeable on it, but
Also,
I love
fun
it.
fact: we both went to the Stanley Cup parade.
We did.
We did.
were
We went there together
Yeah.
with our friend Nixon.
And absolutely, it was a great time.
It was awesome.
So cool. And we witnessed Brett Hall was still functioning when he was there.
Somehow,
He was missing shortly
not
after,
much, but he was.
Him, Bob Plager, they enjoyed the
Yeah.
heck out of that first game. The whole city of St. Louis did.
Yes.
Tried to push the arch over, it didn't work. We didn't. People did.
There were definitely
It was
some attempts.
yeah, there was. It was a good time, and we hope that this year now is maybe the beginning steps of getting back to a cup-ish team.
Yes.
It's not. I don't think they're winning the cup this year.
No.
But the Blues have something that I do not believe like the Cardinals have had. The Blues have a direction.
Yes.
And I'm very excited for it. Like I think this is going to be literally a transition year, but they've set up to do that.
Yeah.
Doug Armstrong, he has a plan, and he's actually stepping down too in 2 years. Alex Steen. Blues
Yes.
fan, you know the name.
Yep, Alex
yes,
Steen.
sir. He is going to take over as president of hockey ops in 2 years, and he's been with them. Like he's been. I think they've done this right.
Mm-hmm.
Steen, through the last few years, he's followed in the minors. He's worked there with the developmental guys. He has seen firsthand what they have in the system. So therefore, you're like, what does that do with running? As the GM. Well, he knows what they have.
Yeah.
He
He's
knows
worked
what
his
they
way
need.
up too.
He has, yeah, and he was a Blue. I mean, gosh,
Yeah, oh
dang,
gosh,
he's
yeah.
a Blue through and through. Was
Yeah.
here for like 10 years.
Well, we was talking about those first games we went to. He's probably on those
Yeah,
teams.
I bet he was.
Yeah.
yeah. He was an all-star for us for years. He was a member of the Cup-winning team.
Yep.
That was the end of his career. Was great. Love it. So I think you look at the top right there. Like they've got a direction. They've got leadership in place. And what I was getting at with that direction is they didn't go out this offseason and make big splashy moves.
No.
They didn't spend a crap ton of money. Like they didn't get a restricted free, like a free agent that wouldn't fit what they're doing. They got a lot of complementary pieces.
Yep.
Like they've got their core. Now, what they do need this year is they need guys like Robert Thomas take another step.
Yes, he does.
Jordan Kyrou,
Kyrou's
not a fan,
goes-
but man, you agree?
Yeah, he's got
Yes, sir.
to step up.
Yeah. Parayko, he had last year improved from the year before, but he's got to solidify this D core.
Yes, he does.
That's huge. I mean, you know what you're getting out of Shin, you know what you're getting out of Saad. Like we have those dependable veterans. If these young guys can take that next step, I'm not saying we're going to cut, but I really think the playoffs are feasible.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, they were very close this last year, right?
That people forget about that.
Yeah,
like
they-
they're getting no credit out there. Like they're picked 6th to 7th, and I don't see it.
Didn't they?
Like,
did it come down to like the last
the
game?
last few games,
Like last two, maybe?
Vegas, if I remember right, was in a tailspin, and they fell back to us because we had been basically out of it.
Yep.
Well, they went in that tailspin. We won a few games, and we were mathematically there, but realistically, not really. But no, and but that being said, they were that close. Bennington had a great year last
Yes, he
year.
did.
He really did. And I'm excited to see what they have. I think the key is going to be defensively. That was their Achilles heel last year. They really struggled there. Torrey Krug has been a disappointment since he's here.
Yeah, he has.
Is
he out?
Yes, he's
Okay,
out for
he's
the year.
out
That's
for
what
the
I'm
year,
getting to.
yeah.
I think this decor, I hate to say this, as I think he's a good dude, but this is addition by subtraction. He's not on the ice. His contract also, I believe they get to, that money, allocate it towards long-term injury reserve. They have went out and defensively they added Ryan Suter. He's not the Ryan Suter in Minnesota when he was a perennial all-star, but he brings that leadership, big body guy, plays hard, knows how to win. They brought in Pierre Joseph and Matthew Joseph.
Yeah,
Brothers.
both of them, the brothers.
Yeah. Pierre plays D. Matthew, he's actually brings some speed.
Yes, I was going to say he is fast.
He is. He came from Ottawa. And I think that's what I like. You just touched upon it. They have brought in physicality and speed.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
They added those guys. They added Radek Foska from. I'm sorry on these hockey names. I got to refer to my sheet.
I thought you did pretty good there. I was surprised.
Thank you. Oh, I'm not done yet. It might get worse. It really might. They added, we'll say Foska, the Fox there, from Dallas, who he's going to help up the middle on the PK. Special teams were terrible last year. He's going to help there. They've added these pieces that, I like how they're going to fit. Now, here's the key. When they just had these names that were added beginning of free agency, I was still like, okay, I'm not real high on it. Oh, then Armstrong comes in with the
Then he
offer
done
sheets.
some stuff.
Yes, sir. Yes, he did.
He pulled some Armstrong moves.
Yeah, he pulled some rabbits out of his hat. It was pretty
Yeah.
exciting. We got Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, who he's the one I'm a little more excited about. He's a left-handed, big-body defenseman. We need that.
Yes.
I really hope. Right now, he doesn't pencil to play with Parayko. They're looking at Letty first, but I hope he works into that role. Because he has the size, the potential physicality to be that number one pair with Parayko that we have not had since
That could be a great number
Petro.
one pair. Yeah.
We've been, I think, chasing our tails. I think Armstrong would admit,
Yeah.
messed up letting Petro walk.
Yeah.
He looked at Krug as younger, looked at the NHL contracts are different. He looked at it like not having to give the no movement clause is a big deal. Well, I'm sorry. I would have taken keeping Petro here this through. He's, I think, made good decisions letting guys like Backus walk in his career. Petro was one. It was like, you just had a bad feeling. Homegrown kid. Yeah, he was
You can't
30.
get them all right, though.
You can't. But I feel like defensively we've been chasing our tails trying to make up for that.
Yeah.
We've needed that guy. I'm not saying Broberg's going to walk in and be that guy. But
He's got potential to be that guy.
Bingo. Yeah, and he could be a great compliment to Parayko in time. The D-core is going to tell the story. As defensively right now, we're looking at Parayko and Letty, Falk with Broberg, and then after that, you're a little thin. I'm excited to see what Perunovic brings to the table. You've got Matthew Kessel, hard-nosed grinder. Perunovic, I'm very excited because I think he's going to step into that Torrey Krug role on the power play. And that was one thing Krug came here. It was like he's a power play captain, good assist man, run the point, quarterback, power play. I didn't really see it. Never really got going. I think Boston was the perfect system for him.
Yes.
I really do. So I'm excited to see what he can do. He's not a big body guy, but I was impressed with Perunovic, bits and pieces last year moving the puck. So if they shore up the defense, you know what I think of Benner. I love the dude.
Yes.
Is he a little crazy?
A
Absolutely.
little bit, but we like a little crazy for a goalie.
Wait, do you need that in net?
Yeah.
Absolutely you do. Throw water bottles at people. Come
Whatever.
on. Yeah, get after him. I love it. Try to fight the whole freaking team.
That's been a...
I mean, he's got pads to be all right. But if they can show up in front of him like Benner and Hofer, Joel Hofer, his backup.
He's
he's
pretty
not
good.
just a backup.
No, he's not.
He was a highly touted prospect. Like, the back end could be a lot better. I think it'd be like a 50 game to 30 split potentially because you've got two number ones no longer play like 80% of the games.
Yeah, no, that's just sports in general. That does not happen.
Right. And NHL goalie tandems is big.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, I think the Blues tandem may be one of the better ones in the league. He could be a dark horse with Benner. Dark horse. I'm not picking that. But that's what they've got defensively. And the forward lines, the Blues don't have like a big McDavid, Crosby name. How they're going to win is depth.
Yes.
Like, honestly, once again, I'm not saying they're winning the cup, but this team, I think, depth-wise, compares to in 2019 whenever they ran four lines. Like, they were able to throw out four lines. You had to go through
Yeah, they just depth anybody that year.
Yes,
That's what they did. That's what they were going to do.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how they were going to win. That third and fourth line was huge in the finals. They wore Boston down, got the crucial goals. The big guys stepped up.
They wore Dallas down, too.
Yeah, and Parayko about killed their goalie. That was fun.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Good times.
It was good times. I hope we're getting back on the path. I really do. But, no, I mean, their lines right now, like I said earlier, need Thomas, Kyrou to step up. The first line, I've got Thomas centering it, Shin Kyrou on the wings. Second line, Saad centering it, Jake Neighbors, Buchanevich. I love there's another name.
Yep, I
Two-way
like him
forward.
a lot, too.
Dude, he plays D as hard as offense. Like, the guy is all over the ice. He's got that Russian anger.
Yes.
That I wish Vlad had. Like, I love it. He's a little crazy.
I mean, yeah.
Vlad has his moments, but Buchanevich he's a little more fire and consistency. Saad's solid. Neighbors, I don't know that he's a 30-goal, 40-goal guy. Like, what he is a big body on the power play that can get in front of the net, can score those crucial rebounds. He's got a place on the team. What's big is Dylan Holloway, the guy we mentioned. If they get him and he settles in, can play the top six role, that third line's big, that's going to be very instrumental. Like, this team could have the depth to be good. So, and we've got a lot of names like Sundqvist, Torbchenko. I really like him.
Yeah, I like him a lot, too.
Yeah. Alexander Thier, we got from Columbus. It's going to fit in. I honestly, right now, I can't say. Matthew Joseph. That was the other one we talked about.
Yep.
I can't tell you how they're going to fit right now, but we have a lot of good skilled players that can play from maybe that second line some to third and fourth lines. That's how we're going to win.
Yep.
And I'm optimistic. So I'll say I honestly have the Blues penciled in like the back spot of the playoffs contending, and next year could be fun.
Yes,
That's where I'm at
agreed.
with it. They're building to something great for the future. So with that being said, you got any more to throw in on
Nope.
our Blues prediction? So we've got
Let's
a
go
wild card
Blues.
contention. Yeah, let's go Blues. Honk, honk, honk. So we're going to take a break and come back with a little more hockey coverage, guys. So we'll be back. Hello, and we are back, and we're going to keep talking some hockey. Yeah, get our Canadian vibes going. One thing I forgot to mention at the top, I think we did the like, subscribe stuff, possibly.
Yeah,
we did that, but-
Follow us on everything.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you.
YouTube, TikTok,
Yeah.
Kick.
There we go.
Follow the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Follow the Instagram, the X or
We
Twitter.
like you, so like us.
Whatever you want.
There we go. What I was going to say is I didn't even give you a preview this whole episode. Like, it's not just hockey. So if you don't
It
like
is
hockey-
winter sports preview.
Yes, winter sports. So if you're like him over there and just playing around in America, not Canada, fine. We got basketball coming your way here in a
Yes.
little bit. We're going to do NBA.
And college.
And a little college. So, yeah, stay tuned. So, and Woody will shut up more on those. There you go.
I know you won't. You never do.
It's a struggle. Ask my wife. But no, we're going to go ahead, and this is, don't hold me to this. This is my hockey prediction / preview for the rest of the league. Now, full disclaimer, I'm going to use my notes a little bit more because this is hockey names, and they are a nightmare. There's a lot of guys from other countries that I don't understand.
Yes.
So, and also not going to go quite as in depth as the Blues because hey, that's where our heart is.
Yes.
The Blues. Yeah, that's right. So, we're going to go ahead and start in the Eastern Conference, where we'll start in the Atlantic Division. I'll try to somewhat go geographically here, but we got last year's champs there, the Florida Panthers. I got them running it back for the regular season in the 1 seed.
Yeah.
I do. They brought Sam Reinert back. That was their big free agent. They lost a few, I would say, I don't want to say minor pieces. I think they lost Brandon Monitor, who's pretty good defensively. But this team's deep enough. You saw last year what they did with depth. That's how they beat Edmonton.
You got Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If you
Love
got
that
Tkachuk,
guy.
You got a chance. So, yeah. Yes, there's a cup hangover aspect, but I think this team does not have a weakness. I think they're coming back.
Yeah.
I really do.
They're just only getting started, it feels like.
I could see that. Yeah, and I love Paul Maurice, their
Because
coach.
take 2 years ago when they made it, they were an 8 seed. They weren't supposed to be there.
Absolutely.
And then they figured it out.
They,
I think that playoff run last year really, or 2 years ago, solidified the team.
absolutely.
They won it this year. Yeah, I don't know. They're going to be tough to deal with, I think.
Well, in hockey, they always talk about buy-in, and these guys have really bought into Maurice's system. Like,
Yes.
he has it set up. They were a high-flying team that got bounced the first round before he got there. He implemented more of a defensive and attacking structure. You saw last year how it worked.
Yep.
I don't see it changing.
Can't be any better than last year.
Exactly. That's true, unless you do it again.
Yep.
There you go. So I've got them as the 1 seed in the Atlantic Division. The next one, I've got Toronto, second, a little higher than normal. There's been rumors of Mitch Marner getting shopped. Hadn't happened yet, so they bring back their core. With Matthews, Marner, they have offense, and they have the Chief, Berube. Boom. I love them bringing Berube in. He's got talent. I didn't want to see him leave here. You guys know I love Berube.
Yeah, that's
This
your
is what
favorite.
happens in the NHL. Coaches get fired.
Yep.
It's much easier to replace a coach than a roster. Chief got a numbers crunch. He gone.
Yeah.
So, but I love what he did here. I think he can actually bring more of, I keep going back to defensive structure. I think he can get them to play harder. That's what they've lacked is physicality.
Yes. Yeah, that is what he's going to bring.
Yes, it is. You have to do that or you don't see the ice. Ask
Yep.
Jordan Kyrou. So, no, I like him there. I like the system they've got. I like the talent. I've got them second. I've got the Bruins third. I don't feel great about this, but it's kind of like, what is it in life? You have death, taxes, and the Bruins making the playoffs.
Yes, it seems
So,
that way.
yeah, it really does. So until they don't, I'm putting them there. They didn't do a whole lot. They brought in Elias Lindholm up the middle, should help. Jeremy Swayman, this is kind of interesting. As last of my knowledge, he still is not signed officially. He's a unrestricted free agent, and it believes there's a deal getting done. But we're getting close to the regular season, and if they don't
They
have
started
him,
being like the Major League Baseball players with Scott Boras or what?
well, there is and that's the thing. The players don't need leverage. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
No, they don't.
I mean, they can. The Heat was great last year, and they can get more money. And I might have missed it. If he's signed, feel better about this pick. They've got to have him, and he's got to play like he did last year.
Yeah.
He kind of came from out of nowhere the last few years. So we'll see. But I've got them third. I will go ahead and go to the Metropolitan Division. I've got the Rangers first there. They gave the Panthers a run last year.
Yes, they did.
Conference Finals. They added Riley Smith. Why I'm real high on them is their goalie. Bear with me here. Igor Shesterkin.
Close enough.
I may not be bad. Yeah,
No,
solid.
that sounded all right.
I'm gonna go back to the Miracle movie. When this guy is on, he's unbeatable. It's like with Jimmy Craig in that movie. Like when he's on, he's on. Like he is the best goalie in the league. I really think if they are gonna win the cup, it's gonna be through him.
Yep.
Very solid goalie, very solid team. They didn't have to do much. A lot of this continuity, you run it back, feel good about it.
Yep.
I've got them first. Here's my, I don't know if you call it surprise, but I've got the Devils. Yeah, New Jersey Devils. That shouldn't be a tongue twister.
You
I
just
made it.
You just did the Russian guy's name so good, and then you did that one.
Then I can't say an American team. Yep, there's Woody. Moments of brilliance and dull.
That's the theme of our show.
It really is. Hey, we're entertaining. That's all I can
right.
say. Enjoy the ride, guys. We never know where it's going to go. But I've got the New Jersey Devils. Boom. Number 2. I got them making the playoffs this year with a vengeance. Last year, goaltending, health, defense let them down. Well, we're banking on health. Like Doogie Hamilton's back.
Health leaves you, you're You're done.
You're screwed. Like,
Yep.
what do they say in sports? The best ability is
availability. Yep.
Yeah, there
I've
you
said
go.
that a few times on this show.
yeah. Oh, there you go. But they added Jacob Markstrom from Calgary, and that is going to be huge. He's a dang good goaltender, and they've got enough firepower. You know, they stunk for years. They got a lot of high draft picks. They've got firepower. I think this year they're gonna be there. They're gonna be a tough out. I got them second. I've got the Carolina Hurricanes third. I think they're taking a step back. I actually had them playing Panthers in the the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I was surprised they got bounced by New York, but they lost Jake Gunzel and Brady, bear with me here, Skiji to Nashville through free agency. Gunzel went to Tampa. So they had some losses, and I just have them a little further back, but still in the playoffs. So they might prove me wrong. Rounding it out in the wild card spots, I've got one team that's there all the time, the Capitals. I've got them as wild card spot 1. Ovechkin.
Let's go, Ovechkin.
Yeah. He is, I had it wrote down somewhere. Hey, new stat guy. I think he's like 50-some goals behind. No. 80-some goals, I think, behind Gretzky. That's fun. But they added some pieces. Chikrin, they got Logan Thompson and net from Vegas. Could be big. So I've got them there, and the other one is a shocker here. I've got the Buffalo Buffaloes, Rogers.
Buffalo.
Chris Duncan shout out.
42
Oh,
goals
that's
away for
close to my
Ovechkin.
thought.
Ooh.
He's got 2 years, 2 left on his deal.
Yeah.
Gets
42
there.
from taking the lead, 41 from matching.
Yep.
Okay, that's exciting.
That's how
So,
math works.
Gretzky will always be the great one, but hey, the great Russian one. There we go.
Clear on what the 42 is.
I know.
Thanks for the clarification.
Good job, new stat guy.
I love it. He's fitting the role well. I've got Buffalo in because of this guy's name. I will get this wrong. Their goalie, Ukko-Pekka. Yeah, whatever. He's Finnish. or something.
Ukko-Pekka.
Look at yeah. There you go. The Luka guy. That works good for NBA. It's gonna work
Yeah.
good here. I think this guy is going to be a dark horse like a Vezina guy, too. Buffalo is going to shock people. Tage Thompson's there, ex-Blue.
Yep.
I'm excited to see what they can do. I think that they have not been in the playoffs since 2011.
Yeah.
I think that ends. Let me rephrase it. I hope that ends for them.
Yeah,
I like
hopefully.
Buffalo. So, yeah. The ones I had just missing is Tampa and Detroit. Watch out in Detroit. Stevie Yzerman's building something special. I could see them being a good team in a few years. I really could. In the West, I already discussed my love for the Blues. I've got them in a wild card spot.
Yep.
But Central Division, I've got Dallas at the top. I do. Their offense is loaded. I mean, Robertson, Hines, Johnson, Duchesne, the names go on and on. Jamie Ben's on the third line.
Yeah,
You need to
that's
know.
all you need to know.
You know, Tyler Seguin's down there.
Yeah. Gosh, both of them guys. man,
Yeah, been around forever.
They have been around forever.
I still, Jamie Ben's probably the most punchable guy from in the NHL.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm not going to do it because he'd kill me. But, I can't stand the guy. I hate the guy, but it's like I respect their team, his game. He's a butthole. But, they're going to be back. And that's a potential cup team right there. I got the Predators. I hate this too. Gosh dang it. On a roll here. I got them number 2. They were the big offseason winner, okay? They brought in Stamkos, which he is older. But
He is older. He's still, yep.
Yeah. Jordan Mashashol from Vegas. That was huge. Yeah, I got that one wrong. But
That's all right.
big 30-goal scorer. He's amazing. I mentioned Brady Skiji from Carolina. They still have O'Reilly. Felipe Forsberg's amazing. Stud. And they re-signed their goalie Saros. That's big. They've got him in net for years. I don't see weakness on the team, and I do not like Nashville at all. You can ask my wife about that. But gosh dang, we can't stand them. But I mean, a lot of times, like I said, the off-season winner doesn't translate.
No,
But I like what their GM's done.
it's tougher to do that in the NHL than any other
It
sport.
is the continuity.
Yep.
Like it's hard. But I will say, Brady Trotz, he is now their GM. He's been a coach for a long time, won a cup. He was in Nashville forever, won a cup in Washington. He knows what he's doing. He's picked these guys for a reason. So I've got the Avs, Rogers Avs there, and their beer mugs in third. They've got, star power with Nathan
Yes.
McKinnon, Makar. Like they have possibly the best star power in the league, but they don't have depth. And goaltending, I think they're a little shaky. So I've got them down in third. I've got all the 2 wildcard spots coming from the Central. I've got 5 teams from the Central. Not as high
Interesting.
on the Pacific. I'm really not. I've got Winnipeg as the first wildcard team. The Blues is the second.
Yep.
Winnipeg and Colorado went back and forth. I think they're interchangeable. I went Colorado for this, but I really like the Central better. Maybe it's a little partiality,
Bias.
a little bit of bias. But out west in the Pacific, I'm not impressed. Edmonton's amazing. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
Edmonton is the
Yeah.
juggernaut.
If Stuart Skinner can play like he did the end of last year and in the Cup Finals, I think they do win the Cup. I really do. But I
They've
mean,
got the talent.
with McDavid, Hyman, Drysdale, you have a chance.
Yes.
So I'm really high on them. Bouchard, I'm sorry, I forgot their best defenseman. I mean, he's unreal. They aren't as deep, but I really think Skinner is the key. I've got them first. I've got the Canucks second. There's been some speculation their goalie, Demko. I think Thatcher Demko's his full name, but he's had a knee issue, and he's not been fully cleared, and he was amazing last year. Possibly best goal in the league when healthy. They need him. They do. 'Cause they don't have, like we've talked with the Blues, a lot of star power. Like Pettersson's good there, Patterson. They've got some names, but depth is the key.
Depth, yeah.
And defense.
Yes.
The other team I've got, I went between the Kings and the Knights in that third spot. I went with the Knights. I do not feel good about it. I do not. They've lost a lot. Like I said, Marsha Schoen, Thompson, and goalie. They still have talent. You know, Petro's still there.
Yes.
So part of it, I'm rooting for Petro. Back to playoffs. I am. Not gonna lie. But I don't feel great about it. I put them third. I would not be surprised if the Kings bypass them.
Yeah.
So, and as far as winning it all, I mean, gosh dang, I have no idea, guys. This is NHL is a hard season.
It's hard.
Probably the hardest playoffs to win.
Yes.
Would you say that's fair
Yeah.
when you play
They're-
you play 7 rounds
Yeah.
or 7 games?
And they're tough. A
Yeah.
lot of them go 7 games.
They do. The physicality. You're
Yeah.
beat by the end of it. So, I don't know. I would say if I had to give you a couple favorites, this is rock chalk, but Florida.
Florida and Edmonton.
Dallas and Edmonton.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at, and I'm eyeballing New Jersey and New York too.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it, and that's your NHL preview in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a break, come back, bring Rogers back, and talk some hoops, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, and we are back.
Welcome back.
Look who we brought back.
He is back.
He's back. Still alive, guys. And he's gonna dunk this thing. So yeah, we're gonna talk
right.
some basketball. I'm gonna
Let's
just
start
be your
with the
Steve Nash.
NBA.
That's right. So, have at it. Is Boston gonna repeat right off the top?
I have a hard time believing that they won't, but I think there's going to be a lot of good teams that are going to give them some runs.
Yeah.
I still think that they're clear-cut the best team in the NBA. They didn't really lose anyone, and I think they have a really chance of running it back.
Maybe they get a non-injured Lithuanian unicorn.
Yeah, Porzingis. That's where we're going?
Porzingis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you guys. I'm slightly illiterate in basketball, but I'm gonna try to keep up here. Yeah, if he's healthy, that's the thing. We've talked continuity in hockey, right? These guys, they're running it back. They didn't have to go out,
No.
with all. Do they have a weakness?
No.
I mean,
They defend well. They've got 2 or 3 really good scorers, 4 if you can count Porzingis to be
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
Their bench is deep. There's
Yeah.
just everything about that Celtics team screams that they can win another championship,
Yep.
and if they can
Yeah.
keep that team together, they can win several.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that was what I was impressed with. I feel like in the NBA, it's so hard to, what you said, keep it together.
Yeah.
Because so much money going around there.
Yep.
And they did it. So I think that's huge. Do you see anybody else in the East? Who would give them a run for their money?
Well, I mean,
Okay.
the team that got the second in the East last year is the Knicks. They actually stole that from Milwaukee in the last week of the season.
Yeah.
And they just made a big trade. They
They
got Karl Anthony Towns. I think they traded Dante DiVincenzo
And
and Julius
Julius
Randle.
Good job on the name.
Yeah, and
Nice.
Charlotte gets like a compensatory pick in that.
Whew, big words, too.
Yeah, I struggled with it. Took me 2 tries.
You did your homework back there. Look at
had to
that.
make a second run at that word.
I couldn't say New Jersey Devils. You're fine.
Last year they did almost all of their comeback to get second place in that conference without Randall.
Yeah,
and
which
they
was
missed.
very impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
They looked like they're a great team without Randall, so they kind of figured if we can make our post better by getting Cat, because they did
Yeah.
lose Isaiah Hertenstein,
Yes.
which was a big part of their run at the end of the season. Hertenstein was great because Mitchell Robinson was still pretty banged
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and even when he was in, he was only playing 17, 18 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So I think Cat's a guy that he can give you 35 to 40 minutes a game and keep Mitchell Robinson to where he can keep his limited minutes. If they end up even keeping Mitchell, I heard that there's some trade mill going on with trying to move him
intriguing.
for another player. So
We may not be done yet.
we may not be done yet, but
Like
the
that.
Knicks look scared.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
picked up Michael Bridges in
Yes.
just before the draft, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was like the day before.
Yeah, he's goes up with those Nova Knicks, man. They did get rid of DiVincenzo to kind of split that up a little bit, but the Knicks look solid.
Brunson, looked amazing in the playoffs. I
Yeah.
mean, he
Oh.
carried him.
He carried them.
Yeah.
And
Brunson put up a borderline MVP season.
yes, and
Yeah.
I was going to say he might be a dark horse for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was hurt against the Pacers at the end of that, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I was
I
thinking
think
in
so,
that
yeah.
depth,
Yep.
like Indiana.
Well,
just
the Knicks were
out-depthed them.
very banged up going into the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Brunson had a wrist injury going
Yeah.
into it. He was already
Still
kind of
balled.
banged up, and then of course Randall was not on the playoff
Yeah.
roster.
Okay.
But the Knicks look like a scary team that probably have the best chance of putting the Celtics, giving them a run for their
Put him
money.
to the test, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what would we think about Big O's team over there?
The Bucks, they didn't really change much. They didn't gain much. They didn't lose much. They had a playoff run going as well.
Yeah.
Dame was hurt, and Giannis
Giannis
got
was
hurt in
Giannis,
that
yeah.
series.
Say if they're healthy, what do you
I think
think
they
of them?
won the first 2 games of the series, or maybe just the first one.
I think they split against
I think
Indy.
it-
I think they split, and then injuries.
Yeah, they got hurt because, like I said, I think they were playing the last 2 games without Dame or Giannis.
Yeah.
I believe you're
that's their
right.
team.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
the game they won
Yeah.
is because Dame went nuclear, if I
Yes.
recall.
yeah. That was it.
Absolutely.
They won, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dame had like
4-1.
25 points in the first half.
Yeah.
It was
Maybe
crazy.
first quarter.
Yeah.
He went
Yeah,
off.
Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
the Bucks do have a lot of upside. They are a good team, but I don't think they can compete with either of the 2 teams that we just listed. They can steal a couple games from them, and right now they've got to worry about keeping up with the Pacers even because
that was gonna
the
be my
Pacers
next-
are a good
Yeah,
team.
I love
that was going to be my
Pacers,
next
yeah.
team to ask you about there in the East.
Yeah.
They're good. The Pacers are good. Tyrese Halliburton, of course, is also always just one of the best passers in the
Yes.
game. He can also put 25, 30 points up in a game if you need him to, but passing is really where you need him. If you can get good people for him to dish the ball to, that can be a scary team too. Last year, they actually kind of lucked their way through the playoffs a little bit. They kept running into teams that were getting hurt.
Jimmy Butler-less Miami, wasn't it?
Yes,
And then,
they kept getting there, and then they ran into the buzzsaw that is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that ended a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
Did they lose in the playoffs last year? How many games did they even lose? Boston. They only lost like 4
Yeah,
games.
yeah,
I felt like there were
barely.
so many that 4-1.
They did a lot of sweeping and gentlemen's
Yeah.
sweep.
Yeah,
So-
that's your term, the gentleman's
Yeah.
sweep. I love that. What I was going to ask you guys about against the Philadelphia 76ers. Like, what do you
Bringing
guys
in
think
Paul
with-
George
Yes.
this year.
What do you think of that?
Pretty interesting. If Embiid is healthy, they got a real shot, I think. It was just Embiid last year wasn't healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He came back, and did he get hurt again? Is
Yeah,
that
I
right?
think he missed a lot of time.
And
Like on
his pretty well when he was on the court, they won.
Yeah.
Um,
They did lose one of their spot-up shooters. They lost Buddy Hield. They traded him to the Warriors, I believe. So that's a big thing. Buddy Hield actually started last season on the Pacers.
Yes.
Then he went to the 76ers, and then he's been traded to the
So he
Warriors
can try to
now.
be the next Klay Thompson.
I think
there
that's
with Steph.
exactly what they did. Is they
Yeah.
tried to replace Klay Thompson with
younger.
Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
Buddy Hield is a great shooter.
Yeah.
He's probably
Yeah.
he's not Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
He's probably equal to what Klay is now. He's not what prime Thompson was.
Okay.
But they replaced him with Paul George.
Yeah. Dude, I had
So,
Buddy
I
Hield in
mean,
college. I remember at Oklahoma.
Paul
wasn't it?
George had a really good kind of a throwback season with the Clippers last
Yeah.
year. There was times in the season last year that he looked like an MVP candidate. His age caught up with him, and he didn't
Yeah.
really keep it sustainable. But he looked very good last year, several times.
So if
Maybe-
he's number 2, number 3 option, even
Yeah.
that
Speaking
might
of
work
which,
pretty
the
good.
There's some
Clippers,
scoring.
I don't know if you saw, but James Harden came into camp a lot lighter. He's lost like
Ooh,
30
some
pounds.
cardio, eh?
Yes.
Man.
He's taking it
Um,
serious. Yeah.
I saw pictures of him at training camp or
He,
summer league.
he doesn't
and
want to get traded.
They're calling him Ozempic Harden. So he's lost a lot of weight.
Dang.
Like, it's a big difference.
Nice.
Oh my
So
gosh.
he looks like a guy that actually wants to be on that Clippers team. Like he
They could
hasn't
use
done
that,
in
I'd say.
76ers.
I
He hasn't done
mean,
in
last
Now, if
year-
only Kawhi would do the same. Like,
Well, yeah.
he missed a lot of time last year too, didn't he?
That Clippers team I thought would be a lot scarier than they were last year. I thought that was going to be a really good team. They just had a bunch of older guys. So
Yeah.
if
Harden,
Jay-
I tell you what, I was impressed with Harden changing his game up to
He's
be
turned into a
the,
great
the
passer.
great
Yeah,
passer he became
yeah.
last year.
Well, we
Just
actually
shoot,
started
shoot.
that in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
He became
Yeah.
the point guard, a true point guard in Philadelphia, and it kind of developed, and he got traded to the Clippers because, I mean, he did what he always does, and he just hated it in
Yeah.
He was ready to
in
get
Philadelphia.
out. Yeah.
Philadelphia fans aren't exactly the kindest to people in the world, anyhow.
I've
no.
heard that. Yeah. And you kind of want to play good there. Might be problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so is that all your teams in the East then you're looking at? Is there anybody
Yeah,
else?
I mean the Bulls that
Okay.
they were not much good last year. They made the playoffs. They did just sneak into the playoffs last year, but they did trade away DeMar DeRozan. I forget what trade, what the specifics exactly were in that trade. I've got it written down here.
I don't know.
Okay, so the Sacramento Kings got DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
And in that trade, the Spurs actually got Harrison Barnes, and the
Oh,
Chicago Bulls got Chris Duarte and a pick.
I remember a lot of these guys back in their college days.
Exactly,
Like Barnes in
yeah.
North Carolina, like you say the name.
Yeah.
At least where they're at in the NBA college.
The Kings, I think they made the playoffs last year too. They're grabbing up a
The
great
Kings
score.
were a very good team last
They
year.
were an explosive offensive
Yeah.
team. That team needs to learn how to play defense, and DeMar is a good defender. So
that is a team on the rise, I think, in the West.
yeah,
Okay.
they're
I
young
really
and
think
they
so.
shoot the lights out.
Yeah.
That team can knock down the three. So naturally, they added a guy that almost never takes threes. So
They
gotta get
don't
balance
need
there.
that. They got he can
Well,
shoot mid range.
DeMar is Mr. Mid range. He
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
knock down 25 points a game.
It's
two
another
at a
weapon.
time.
Like,
Well, you add that to Fox. You add it to some bonus. I mean,
is it me
Malik
or is the
Monk is
West
really
now?
good on
Malik
that team.
Monk. Yep.
That team is just really good.
Was the
And-
whole West Conference like honestly better than the East when you talk depth wise?
Yes,
Like your 6
yeah.
through 12
Yeah,
teams.
that's-
Yeah,
Is
after
it
you
a
get
crapshoot?
outside of the Celtics and the Knicks, the East is just that's them.
Yeah, yeah.
The West is very rounded.
Yeah.
It's got the Nuggets, it's got the Thunder, it's got
Oh yeah, I mean
the
you got the two
Timberwolves.
LA teams too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the Mavs. But
You got New Orleans there that's
Yeah.
fighting for a
One more
playoff
East
spot.
team,
You got
guys.
Memphis there. It's going to be fighting.
I was going to bring that up. We got to give Nixon some love though. The Heat. What do you guys think of the Heat this year? Fringe playoff, like that's where he.
Fringe
Yeah,
playoff.
I
That's
think so.
That's the other one I
They're
was
going to be
thinking of,
pretty
and-
close to what they were last year
Yeah.
as far
Okay.
as they're a playoff team, but
Yeah.
I don't know if they can make the run.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler can go nuclear in the playoffs, as we've seen in the past. He got hurt last year, so we didn't get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Bam's a stud
Well,
too.
yeah,
I asked him about it. I was like, playoffs? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, maybe first round upset. No, and that was the end of our conversation. So that's what he said. Pretty brief.
there's three teams, maybe four, that I would consider marginally better than the Heat. So,
Okay, all right. Well, we'll switch over to the West then, and we'll go ahead. Just favorite in the West. Where are you at? And then we'll talk their depth.
who
you looking
The
at?
Thunder won it last year. I
No, they didn't. The
came
Mavs
out.
won it.
well,
Mavs.
as
Regular
far as
season?
regular
Right.
season,
Yeah,
I'm talking regular season.
Okay, yeah. They were the top team.
They were the top teams. The Mavs obviously made it to the finals, and honestly, I could see them doing it again. They did add.
Thompson.
They
And
added Klay Thompson
yeah.
to go
They
along with.
got so much better in the second half.
I was going to ask you guys
They
about
did.
Thompson. What do you think him going there? Because I thought offensively a third weapon they need to complement Luka and Kyrie. Didn't they have trouble, which I might be wrong, but in threes finals? Like they couldn't match Boston's, which no one could.
well,
But,
if
you know,
you
they
got a
didn't
spot
have-
shooter in Klay Thompson,
Could you see that? That's what I thought he meant fit well there.
Kyrie went ice cold in the finals.
Yes,
Yeah.
he went
So-
ice cold.
So a guy that was willing that team with the help of Luka through the playoffs to go ice cold in the finals, they didn't really stand a chance against a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
Boston team.
They needed Kyrie and Luka to just be next level.
They needed those two because, like we discussed during that playoff run when we were kind of having our shows,
Yeah.
is that the Mavericks had to be perfect.
Yes,
Yeah.
to
absolutely,
play
absolutely, yeah.
up to the level that the Boston Celtics were.
Yeah.
And Kyrie wasn't hitting, so it was over.
They had to be perfect. They had to steal some games. Like they had to crunch time, get that stop,
Yeah.
get that three, and that when they lost the first two in Boston like that, it's like those were games. That's when they had to win one. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So back on the West it's going to be competitive.
Yeah,
Mavs
absolutely.
there. Thunder's going to another year with that Thunder team.
Yeah.
They're building something there that's scary.
See that.
Very scary.
I love. Let's talk for a minute how they built that team. Draft picks. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, they stockpiled them, didn't
I
they?
think they still
They
got a
did.
stockpile of them.
They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like that is the model. Like I don't know, has anyone in the NBA went that route? Because it seemed like super teams was the way to go. But
Not as much as they have.
The Knicks kind of had that thing going
Okay,
on in this
okay.
last draft. This last draft, the Knicks had a ton of picks.
Yeah.
okay, well I just think
Yeah, the
that's so
Knicks
cool,
haven't
homegrown
been really.
talent.
Yeah, they haven't done the free agent signing as much as.
No,
the
they
other
did a little
teams.
bit this year.
Boston built it through the draft a lot too.
It's fair.
for
Yeah.
the main.
Yes.
players.
Tatum
They're-
and yeah. I just thought it was cool all the trades they made for these picks, and they're loaded.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, who did you mention they got just this offseason?
Who we talking
You said
about?
the name
The Thunder.
Hardenstein or what? Was
Isaiah
Isaiah
Hartenstein.
Hardenstein.
There you go, from the Knicks,
he
right?
was
I thought
he
that-
was a huge part of that playoff push for the Knicks last year.
Mm-hmm.
He was splitting time with Mitchell Robinson. He's not a guy that's going to give you 40 minutes a game. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to give you more like 25 to 30, maybe a little bit more if he gets more in less of a split role.
Yeah.
Well, he can back up Chet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
That's
like
what
that
he
guy.
is.
If he can get
Yeah.
25 solid minutes a game to give Chet a rest and even have
Yep.
some time when both those guys are on the court at the same time,
Be that physical
That's a
presence
win.
with him.
Chet can back out.
See,
And he
that's
can
when they
be the
can play
shooter
off.
that he can
Yes.
be,
Yeah.
because Hartenstein can bang around in the paint.
So pretty well rounded, is what you're saying. Like,
Yes.
that's they're going with that team, and they've got their star. I mean, SGA, like they're amazing.
Yeah, you
So,
forget about him. So,
Oh, yeah.
let's take a quick
Right.
break, and we'll come back and
We'll
finish
finish
up
the West, yeah.
the West, and then talk a little college basketball. Maybe just get the local team, but that's
Yeah.
all right.
That's all right. Sounds good. And we are back. We're gonna finish up our NBA preview here.
That's right.
We're still in the
Yeah,
West.
We're in the West because there's a lot of good teams. out
There
There
there.
are.
is.
So it
That
took
is
some
a
time.
very deep division.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or conference, I guess is what they call it in the NBA. But
Whatever it is, there's a lot of good teams. So we don't know who's
we
gonna make
touched
it.
up on the Thunder and we touched up on
the Mavs.
The
We've hit
Mavs.
the top dogs, I think, going into the season.
That's not all of them.
Well, I mean,
No,
we
no,
got
no.
the Timberwolves, which they just
Yeah.
traded away Karl Anthony Towns, but they got Julius
they
Randle.
got Randall.
Yes.
And Dante DiVincenzo, who can be a very great three-point shooter.
Yeah.
I
don't
think that
think-
trade was a wash, kind of.
Yeah, I think it was.
It helped both teams and didn't hurt either.
Yes.
So it was just
Sounds
a good
like a-
trade all
yeah,
around.
sounds
So
good to me.
they can call it a wash, but really it's a
Win-win.
win for both teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
You got Ant. You got a chance, anyways.
that. Yeah. And-
Yeah.
he
That's
went
my favorite
nuts
player in the
playoffs.
league.
Like,
That's
oh my
that's a
gosh.
good team. I think that they will miss Cat's presence to be able to shoot the ball, but they got Dante to pick up that
Well,
3-point
his
slack.
big man can shoot the ball. Like I've been impressed with Cat since he was
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Cat and Anthony Edwards kind of butted heads at times. They didn't
Two
have,
alphas that happens.
They
yeah.
did not like each other all that much. They in post-game interviews kind of joked around with each other a lot. I think that some of it was more joking than others.
Ant is pretty intense. I'll just
Oh,
say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he was
Absolutely.
comparing himself to Michael Jordan last year, it was like, oof.
You ever seen
I
the
believe
picture
on
of
the
them?
Olympic team,
yeah, I know.
On the
DNA
Olympic-
test? Is that what you're saying?
the Olympic team, he was coming off the bench, and he said Steve Kerr told him that when the Dream Team was coming through, or not Dream Team, but the Redeem Team
Redeem
was coming
Team, yeah,
through,
yeah.
it's like, oh, we had Kobe coming off the bench, and he's like, well, we don't have a Kobe on this team.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
I'm better. Watch this. I love the confidence. I do.
Yep.
I like Minnesota. We got to think about Phoenix. Like, is their time over? You know, Durant,
Bill.
Booker,
man,
Beal.
I don't know. I mean, I actually kind of they get lost in the shuffle because
Yeah.
they're a team that they are built. They look like they should be great.
On paper, yeah.
Devin Booker has to stay healthy. He hasn't been able to do it the last 2 seasons, and
Yeah.
that's been a big reason of why they keep falling short.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant is fantastic. I think he started out the season last year with like 25 in a row where he had 20 points or more.
Yeah.
Which
He's gonna
is
get his.
insane. He's gonna get his. He's got to have Devin Booker on his side to help him score points. Otherwise, that team's gonna fall short again.
Okay.
They'll
All right.
make the playoffs. I don't know how much
Defensively,
further.
do they struggle a little bit there?
Yeah, their defense is. I
Yeah.
mean, Kevin Durant doesn't play defense.
No. It's all right. I'll score 40. You can score your 30. It's fine. Who else you guys looking at? Like,
I brought it up. I think Sacramento's a dark horse team
yeah.
to come.
We think about
they won-
Memphis, too.
They're
Yeah,
still
that's
a couple years away.
Sacramento?
Wembanyama is probably going to be a top 10 player in the NBA, if not probably
I
top
said
10.
Sacramento, not San
Oh,
Antonio.
okay, sorry. I thought you said San Antonio.
But
We'll
we've-
get to that.
but-
That's another one.
yeah,
That's a
we'll
good
bring-
point.
Okay.
But Sacramento won a playoff series this last year.
They did.
Their first one. I think that's going to catapult them into the
could do
next
that.
stratosphere
Conference
there.
builder.
They've got the philosophy of we don't have to play defense if we can score more than you.
Yeah.
That's,
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Well, I don't know if you watched a lot of their box scores last year. They were scoring 130,
Yeah.
140 points. Sometimes they'd score that much and still lose by 20.
Are you saying bet the over?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, the overs in those games are always ridiculous.
Like,
If Sacramento is
250?
on the floor,
Yeah.
the over's going to be high.
Sounds like my kind of team. Like, I love the Suns back in the day. Steve Nash running guns, thought
That team
that's
chucks threes, and they hit a lot of them.
There you go. That scores more than 2, right?
That's right.
Woody brought up Memphis. John Morant's going to be back.
He
That
is.
team's still got a lot of talent.
Yeah. Is he
It
going to stay out of the strip clubs? and-
They really never last year got to see Marcus Smart play together with Ja
Yeah.
Morant.
Yeah.
I think Ja came back for maybe 10 games and they got hurt again.
Yes, it wasn't
He
long.
came back from suspension, looked great. They
Yeah.
won like 2 or 3 straight
Yeah,
off
they
of his
did.
suspension.
Yeah.
One him hitting a ridiculous buzzer beater
Yeah.
to win the game. That was his first game back, actually.
Yes, it
I'm
was.
actually
He
a
said he was
Grizzlies-
tired after it.
I'm a Grizzlies
see
fan.
that.
So
I
I
like-
like that.
I like Ja and
I do
the big
like
guy,
Ja and
Johnson Jr. Right?
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Jaron Jackson Jr.
Okay,
sorry.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is actually quietly a
He is
very
a
top tier
very-
player.
yes, he is.
He's probably a top 20 NBA player in general. He could be even higher than that just because of how well-rounded he is.
Yeah, he does
has a lot
everything
of the
good.
same skill assets that what Jokic does. He just doesn't do it as well.
Okay. I
But
did
he
not
is
know that,
very
man.
well-rounded.
I'll
He's a
look into
great
it.
defender. He's a great rebounder. Actually, one of the best rebounders.
Yes.
Blocks a ton of shots.
Yeah.
And he's also a good passer.
Nice.
He can also drop 20 points. He's
Yep.
just
He's
well-rounded.
very
He can
good.
do a little bit of
Okay.
everything.
So they got hope. I
Yes.
like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
they
always
do.
like Memphis. I love where Midwest-ish. I root for those teams.
Yeah.
Who you just mentioned there, Jokic. We haven't talked about the Nuggets. Like, I forget that just 2 years ago they won the title, and I thought that was going to be a dynasty.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not.
They're still
but-
very good, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
be shocked at all to see them kind of do the same thing. They're,
Yeah.
they're gonna
Yeah.
be there. They will be there.
Yes,
and
they
they
will.
just added Russell Westbrook, which is kind of whatever. They got him in a trade with the Jazz and I forget who else. The Jazz actually got him in a
Lakers.
trade.
Yeah.
Okay, Jazz and the Lakers. Oh, yeah,
Maybe if
Lakers.
they
was on the
shut him up
Lakers,
and
yeah.
make him play his role, he could be beneficial.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Exactly. He did pretty well at knowing his role last year with the Lakers.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not a shooter anymore, but he can be
Oh,
a
dear
good
God, no.
rebounder and he can be a good
Yeah,
passer.
he's still quick. I mean,
So I mean, maybe kind
Just
of
don't shoot
takes the passing edge off of Jokic and lets him kind of be a scorer again.
yeah,
So
maybe. Jokic's just he does it all. Like
Now, did Murray get hurt last year during the playoffs? Does that happen, or
think-
am I dreaming that up?
DeJounte,
he was the one
No,
that threw the water
uh,
bottle, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
point
don't
guard.
think he.
Jamal.
Jamal Murray.
I thought he got hurt, but weren't they already down? Like,
I
Yeah,
think so,
it was
but-
already like the
but-
series was
yeah.
pretty well over when
Yeah.
I think they were already down 3-2.
yeah, I could just see them bouncing back. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
what to
They're-
think of this West, guys.
It's tough. It's tough. We haven't
Yeah.
even brought up the LA teams.
That's what
Lakers
last
have
one I
made
was gonna
the
say.
playoffs. Who knows what they're going to be? I think they've done stuff, but I can't think of it. Oh, they
They
got
got Bronny.
Well, they got the guy from Tennessee, Dalton Connect.
This just in
Oh,
in
wow.
a interview, Bronny
like
did
him.
say that he's not going to carpool with his dad to work.
Oh my gosh!
So-
Wow, that's breaking news.
Yeah, yep.
They got
Da-da-da-da-da.
Austin Reeves, who I'm a big fan of.
Austin Reeves
Yeah,
great.
coaching, man.
Got some swag to him.
Yes, he does.
Is
Likes
LeBron
golf,
an
too.
assistant coach yet, or is it?
Basically.
I think he's manager actually.
Yeah.
Well, they drafted his son. Yeah, I kind of had that joke going, but that's. I mean, we just named off. Oh, San Antonio. That's the
San
other
Antonio.
one. Wemby.
I just seen that Wemby gained 35 pounds this
He's
year.
on the
could be
honest plan.
scary.
He's on the honest
Dude,
plan.
that guy is so
Yeah.
scary.
But the thing is like he can't. If he gets built like Giannis, he's going to be unstoppable because
Yeah,
he is
and
so
he's-
much of a better shooter than Giannis
Oh,
has
yeah.
ever
Right,
been.
yeah.
He's a great rebounder, great defender. I don't know if the
Yeah.
extra weight's going to make him a little bit slower on the defensive side. That's a little bit to be seen. But when
Yeah.
you got a wingspan that big, it doesn't matter.
Well,
No.
that's what I was saying. Like he's.
He
like
can make up
something-
for it, and he's got to get a little beefier to stand up.
I
to
think
the
you're going to
NBA.
see eventually the blocks come down a little bit because he's going to get beefier and he's
know,
not going
man.
to cover as much ground,
Fair.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get in his kitchen. All roads come through Wemby because he's everywhere.
Yes.
So
Yeah, he reminds me of on Space Jam. You know, this
Yeah.
creature
Well,
that
they're,
are just made.
I mean,
reach
you
everywhere.
guys see the logo Nike made for him as an alien.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go,
the best
yeah.
logo I've seen him make since Jordan.
I love it.
he's a great shot blocker, but like I said, I expect that to later in his career. I mean, he's 20 years old,
Yeah.
so
I'll tell him that.
it's gonna start climbing down. I think he was kind of making a point last year. I do think that
Yeah.
he could
I could see that.
maybe win Defensive Player of
Oh,
the Year
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Pretty good chance of it, actually. I think he kind of got robbed from it last year. Rudy Gobert had a very good season. He's a great defender. I think that was his third time winning the award.
very
I think
solid.
they just didn't want to give it to Wemby because he's a rookie, blah, 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 so much hype. Gobert equally deserved it. They both had great seasons.
I'm excited to see CP3 throw him some lobs. Like
Yeah.
I've always liked Chris Paul. I have, and I think that could be fun.
Okay.
We'll
yeah.
see. So I'm not picking them to be in the playoffs. But
I
it'd be
don't
fun.
think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll be better than they were last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're
That's
just
fair.
building there.
Yeah.
You got
Well, they got
Wemby, you just
Jeremy
keep
Shoshan
building.
that's also pretty good, and he's came in the same draft class, I believe, maybe the year before. That's a young team that looks like it's got a lot of potential, so we'll see.
Okay. You guys, it just hit me. If we have talked about every Western Conference team, which I think
they're
speaks,
all
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
in there.
It
Like,
speaks
we
to
didn't
the
mention
depth,
the Hawks at all.
you
or-
know?
that was in the
No,
East, but we didn't.
Right, but I, mean,
I mentioned the
West is amazing.
Pelicans, but that's about
There
it.
you
But
go,
they're
yeah, Zion. I'm
they're
sorry.
right there. They said Zion's lost. He apparently,
best shape
I
of his
think
life?
he's lost the pounds that Wemby gained. I think they just,
They were working out
they just
together and just
worked out
shifted
and
it.
got shifted it. But
Both could use the gains
Yeah.
and losses, so I can
yeah,
see that. That's
so
good.
we'll
What else
see.
we didn't bring up
Well-
the Jazz or the Rockets, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right. Good lord, yeah, they're solid too, aren't they? I mean,
the Rockets, I think
like
they
on the rise, aren't they?
Yes, they've
Yeah.
they've got some young talent, and
crazy.
the Jazz actually last year they've got Nick Collins, I believe, not Nick Collins, A. Collins.
A. Collins.
A.
Sounds good to
Collins.
me. It's Phil Collins? Is that right?
No, it's
No,
not.
no.
I'm just
Never
kidding,
mind.
guys.
Forget about the Jazz. He's not that good.
In the air tonight.
We got, oh yeah, Jazz there. Hey, that's pretty fitting right there, guys. You got any more NBA? Or you gonna touch on college just real briefly?
Yeah, let's do a little bit on college.
We can
We
do
got
that.
about 6 minutes
Yeah.
here, so let's roll it
So
out.
So,
we'll go off here, and
Yeah.
you see what's on my hat. I'm an Illini
That's
fan.
right.
We've not seen the AP poll come out yet, but
Well, do you want? I could just give you real quick the top 10. We're not going to go real deep on the ESPN early rankings.
yeah, I don't agree with the rankings. That's what I was
Okay.
gonna get there.
I mean, Kansas number one. I didn't
Kansas
really get-
number one, yeah, I get it, but they didn't have Illini ranked, and I think they
Yeah.
are going to be ranked.
They
is
were in
what I
like
was
the next
gonna say.
5.
Okay.
But I thought they
Um,
were top 20-ish.
yeah.
17.
So
I saw
what
on the poll.
I see from the Illini this year, if you haven't been paying attention, they've got one player returning, Ty Rogers.
Okay.
Wait, one on the whole.
I think maybe two, but I know it's just one that actually got a lot of playing time last year.
Okay.
Okay.
They lost a lot. Team made it to the Elite Eight. Terrence Shannon Jr. is on the Timberwolves. That's a pretty good pickup
That's
from that
another
team
one.
there.
Yeah, when he was on.
That was
man,
a steal
he
of the
scored.
draft. But they brought in more talent than possibly has ever been brought in on the Illini.
Yeah,
and I'm
the-
not
some of the best
I'm not,
recruiting that the lineup have had in a long time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, Brad Underwood, he hit the transfer portal big time. They got the guy from Evansville. Do you remember Evansville beat Carolina last year?
I think they did.
They beat.
They're right.
I think
They
beat
took
Car-
down a
That
big
They
team.
took down an
Yeah,
ACC
yeah.
team.
That was
Yeah.
early in the
Um,
season, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They got the
first-
shooter from
first 2 weeks.
Evansville.
Yeah.
Ben, I can't.
These names are
Humrichus.
fun, you know, and all these
Hum-
sports.
Humrichus.
I'm not gonna give it
Yeah,
a go on that.
That guy.
they got him.
They got a lot of talent.
Ty Rogers, like I said, is back. But then they've got Morris Johnson Jr., who was Illinois Gatorade Basketball Player of the Year.
Okay.
He's a
That's
big guy,
pretty good.
6'9",
Ooh, some
going to be
size.
in the paint. He was the highest ranked recruit Illinois ever got until they got the Canadian, Will Riley,
Eh?
this year.
the
He
Canadians.
ended up reclassifying. He was going to be like one of the top players in 25, but he's reclassified to be, or 26. He reclassified to be in this, come in this year. Probably going to be a lottery pick.
Okay.
My
Six-
gosh.
What is he? 6'6", super athletic.
You had me at Canada. I'm sorry. I'm like, that's
Let me
cool.
look
Because
here.
all the best basketball players.
Oh,
come
sorry,
from
he's
Canada.
6'8",
Absolutely.
6'8", 180.
Zach Edey, right?
He's
Maybe?
athletic, can
on
score on
Zach.
all the levels.
That's amazing.
He looks like he's going to be a lottery pick. And then they also got, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Kasparis Jakusnevich, Lithuania, guy from played Barcelona.
I'm sold on
Dude.
Lithuania.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Canada, we got Lithuania, we got
No,
bilingual,
like Lithuania is a basketball
Yeah.
hub
you
right
mean
now.
Zeus. Oh,
Like
wow.
that
They
is.
they got him projected as another lottery pick.
I gotta give it to the coach. Like, holy crap!
They
he
did-
some homework. Like,
They brought in. I mean, I
bet
think
you
it.
he got a lot of free air miles.
They're
Yeah.
gonna. It's gonna take them a little while to gel. I
Could
can see that happening.
Well,
but
with the new team.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they've got
If they
so
hold
many
their
new
team.
faces. They
Good thing is the first few weeks of the season you get to play a
Yep,
couple
The
scrubs.
cream puffs. Yeah.
they did take the kind of last year. I think me and you talked. They didn't really have the point guard. They still don't necessarily have a point guard.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Kasparis, the guy
Okay.
from Lithuania, doing most of the point guard.
Well, last year in that tournament, it was Terrence Shannon Jr. or bust. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was scoring 30 points a
They-
game.
they had a
in
lot of-
college, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I know they had a lot of possessions there in the.
They also got one of the main transfer portal guys from Arizona, Kylan Boswell.
Yep.
I forgot
Oh,
he
I've heard
made
that name. Yeah,
he's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
the point guard probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's big.
So I mean I think they ended up with the top 5
Okay.
transfer portal, and then they ended up right around 10 once Riley came in.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Top 10 class, you mean, as a whole?
Yes,
That's
well,
awesome.
no, top 10 for recruits, and then
Yeah.
their top 5 for transfer portal.
Okay.
And
That
I
gets
think
me
when you put
confused.
it's not the same it used
Yeah.
to be.
It's a little bit different.
It's
Yeah.
different. I think when you put it together, they are like top 10
Wow.
in incoming
Well, that
players.
makes me feel
So,
better about it. When
yeah,
you let
they've-
off
they've-
send one returner. I was
They've got a lot of talent. It's just
Yeah.
it's just going to be what it is. But you got
Yeah.
2 guys that are projected to be lottery picks. You got another guy who, if he plays well, could be with Johnson Jr.
Yeah.
He might take him a year. I could see
Yeah.
that, but I think he's an NBA player too.
Well, this
I'm
is exciting
excited
for the future.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and Underwood's shown he can
Yes.
bring together quick.
You know who I'm excited to see after the Olympics?
I know.
I know who you are, and I
Cooper
was
Flag.
Cooper Flag.
Cooper
That's
Flag.
that's the guy everybody's looking at for sure. If,
That's gonna be fun.
If he can play what he looks like, Duke
When
is
he was
going to
out
have
there
a chance.
torching the Olympic team,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
the Olympic
I
team
mean-
that won the gold medal.
Yeah,
When's the last guy this hyped? Like,
Zion.
Zion.
Zion,
Okay, there
but
you
he's
go.
not built like Zion, so
No,
he's,
not
so
at
he's
all.
gonna maybe be a little bit more sustainable, guys.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah, and probably shoots better. Maybe.
Oh, he's-
Oh
He
yeah,
can
he
shoot
can, he
lights
can
out.
shoot lights out.
He can shoot the lights
He-
out.
Yeah,
Some of his highlights are stupid.
yeah.
Like,
So,
boy can ball.
but that's what we'll just kind of do that. It's still a little early for the college
Yeah.
basketball preview,
Yeah.
but I wanted to talk about the
Yeah, it's nice to
Illini.
give you a little taste
We'll
there.
give you a little taste. We'll
Yeah,
talk.
just a
I'll talk
teaser,
about
right?
it.
Teaser.
Talk about it during the
ILL.
year. So
INI. There we go. I'm on board, guys. So,
Yeah. Thanks
Well,
everybody for
thank you.
watching.
yeah.
Catch us out on YouTube and
TikTok,
Nah.
Kick, all the
all that
the
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
We'll catch you
Get away
again
from
next week.
Stay
Yep.
classy, Southern Illinois.